as a source material reader of the manga of Tower of God, I was very happy and hyped for when they announced the first season of Tower of God. I was even more hyped when I saw the trailer. I was very happy and excited with the animation style and character designs, and I have zero problems with the first episode. It was only in the second episode, sadly, when the red flags started showing. They went. The second episode was rush as hell. They went through panel from the source material. They went from panel to panel from the dialogue like there was no tomorrow. It was rush as hell. The second episode. They didn't even let you a moment to absorb the information, to breathe. I honestly thought they even did an error and skipped important dialogue that is significant for the future development of the story. It was only until a friend of mine told me, no, they didn't skip it. You just didn't notice it. And I went back, and yes, they did said it. It was just going so fast that I didn't have enough time to read it. So yeah, and sadly, that wasn't the only red flag. When it comes to the first season of Tower of God, there were three rush episodes. Episode 2, Episode 8, no, no, it was Episode 2, Episode 8, and Episode 11. Yes. Those three episodes were rush as hell. They skipped it. They went through the dialogue like there was no tomorrow. They skip important scenes. Well, not well. Yes, important not to the story but to the characters. There's some stuff they skip makes you identify with certain characters more. So while it doesn't have any negative impact to the story, it does have negative impact to the characters. So maybe there's could have been one or two characters that you could have identified or could have been your favorite, but because of the rushness of certain episodes, maybe you could have not known certain scenes. So yes, those three episodes were rushed as hell. Sadly, that was not the only crime when it came to this adaptation. Also, every single fight was downgraded. Every single fight was downgraded. The case game was passable. I didn't have I didn't have it was slightly downgraded. I didn't have much a complaint with it. In the tag game, yes, in that one, yes, it did bother me. But I gave it a pass because while it's a good fight scene in the manga, it's not like one of my favorites or Die Hard. Why I wanted to be animated exactly like it is, so I gave it a pass. In the third fight, the one with Anak versus the Hassad Royal Guard, which has a very confusing name. Just gonna read it one time. Ren Lopo Bi Ren Lopo. Yes, the one of Anak with the Hassad Royal Guard. I'm not gonna say that name again. That one broke me. That fight from the first season or from the first arc of the manga, that's one of my favorites. The suspense, the fight, the cool weapon. I was very disappointed when let's not get ahead of myself. In the anime adaptation, they didn't even attempted to animate that cool ass weapon. They didn't even try. When that episode came up, and the fight as a social material reader, I knew that it was coming up. I was sitting in the corner of my couch. I was leaning in. I was waiting in anticipation, like how are they gonna animate this? Are they going to CGI it? Are they gonna stick with the art style and use the animation? They didn't even try. The fight was, out of all the fights, that was downgraded as hell. Like if I was going to compare it, if it was adapted in my mind correctly, a 5 minute a 5 minute adaptation out of the fight scene, they downgraded it to only 30 seconds. That much. Seriously, the fight started and ended like in 30 seconds. She attacked. The Hazard Royal Guard just did the spit out a bunch of monster out of his mouth. It was like a 1-2 hit KO start fight. I was so frustrated with that fight. The level of disrespect they did to my girl, that I was just broken. I decided to take a break. Instead of watching the episode on release day, I just binge watched the last two episodes. I binge watched it because I needed at least a 1 week break or something, because that fight broke me. I was very very disappointed, and all of these problems could have been avoided if they given it more episode. When they announced that this anime season of Tower of God was only going to be 13 episodes, I knew that that was not gonna be enough. As a source material reader, I knew, I pinpointed the exact panel out of the manga where they were going to end the season. I knew that they wanted to end there. I guessed it correctly, and I knew that there was too much material, source material, to squeeze into 13 episodes. I knew that 13 episodes was not gonna be enough. Personally, I said 15 to 16 episodes to do a good adaptation and adapt all the social material. Were they going to adapt every single dialogue? No, but would they adapt every significant panel and dialogue that makes you connect, or in the world building connect more with the characters? Yes. All Everything that they skip in the 13 episode of squeezing into one season. Sadly, yes, there were many characters that were done dirty, many dialogue or scenes that made you connect with them. Some that were world building. So yes, look, and I am not a hater. When it comes to anime onlys, I can put myself in your shoes, and I can say definitely, if you're an anime only, you're gonna enjoy it. If you solid 7, 7.5, solid anime, you're gonna enjoy it. But if you're a source reader like me, it is not anger, it much more frustration, because this has the same potential to be in the same level as, well, recently Solo Leveling. So seeing something that could have been exactly have the same hype as Solo Leveling to fall out of a cliff, for me at least, well, there's always the source material. I highly recommend it. Personally, I didn't have any problem with the original art style. I know that some people decide when it comes to the manga. I didn't have any problem with the original art style. Yes, it got better over time, but some other people didn't enjoy it, and some just power through it. But I have no problems with it. So yes, this is my review slash rant, more of a rant of Tower of God season 1. I hope I hope that in future manga adaptations they see solo leveling as an example that yes, with mangas can be, because there are a lot of mangas adaptation obviously, but they're only in the last 4 years are they dipping their toes with manga. So let's see if they can continue doing the same thing as solo leveling and doing a good faithful adaptation. Yes, solo, well, this is not a solo leveling review, so I'm gonna stop it here. So yes, anime only, you're gonna enjoy this anime. I recommend the first season. At least I didn't even bother with the second season. The first season was such a disappointment with me that I just stopped. I didn't even bother with the second season.